Long before the world was divided by borders and names, there stood a mighty kingdom in the heart of the forest belt of ancient Africa. Its walls were red with earth and blood, its bronze shone like captured sunlight, and its name carried weight across distant lands. This was the kingdom of Edo, known today as Benin. The Edo people believed that a king was not merely a ruler, but a bridge between the ancestors and the living, between the land and its people. The throne was sacred, and so was the responsibility that came with it. This is the story of a king who forgot that truth. The rise of Oba Akenzua. In the days of peace and plenty, the throne of Edo was occupied by Oba Akenzua, a man crowned young, strong, and ambitious. When he first ascended the throne, the people celebrated for 7 days and 7 nights. Drums echoed through the city, dancers filled the streets, bronze bells rang from the palace towers. Oba Akenzua promised greatness. Under his early rule, trade flourished. Ivory carvings and bronze heads left Edo for distant lands. Farmers harvested yams so large they bent the soil. The kingdom's walls grew taller, its name louder. And with each success, the Oba's confidence grew. So did his appetite. The first tax. At first, the taxes were small: a basket of yams per household, a portion of palm oil for the palace, a levy on traders entering the great market. These are for the good of the kingdom, the royal messengers proclaimed, to strengthen Edo. The people agreed. A strong kingdom required contribution, and so they paid. But power, once tasted, rarely leaves quietly. The taste of gold. One season, foreign traders arrived with fine cloth, mirrors, and metal unlike anything the Edo people had seen. They bowed before the Oba and laid their goods at his feet. Oba Akenzua was dazzled. From that day, his eyes changed. The palace expanded. New courtyards were built. More guards were hired. More festivals were ordered, each grander than the last, and each celebration required money. So the taxes increased. The weight on the people now it was 2 baskets of yams, half of a farmer's palm oil, extra fees for traders, extra levies for festivals, special contributions for the ancestors. The people murmured, but they still obeyed. Among them lived Omunigo, an old farmer whose back was bent like a question mark. His family had farmed the same land for generations. One evening, as he stared at his nearly empty barn, he whispered to his wife, "If the king takes more, the soil will take us." The market woman's lament. In the great market of Edo, Iyabo, a widow who sold smoked fish, counted her coins again and again. Each new tax left her with less. Each levy pushed her closer to hunger. One day she cried out, "Does the Oba eat gold? Do his ancestors demand our bones?" The guards dragged her away. Fear entered the market that day.
The elders speak. The Uzama, the council of elders, watched with concern. These were men whose voices once shaped kings. They requested an audience. Inside the palace, bronze plaques watched silently as the eldest elder, Chief Agosa, spoke. "My Oba," he said, "the strength of the throne rests on the backs of the people. A tree that drinks all the water dries its own roots." Oba Akenzua frowned. "Are you questioning my authority?" he asked. The elders bowed, but their warning hung in the air. The Oba dismissed them. The tax becomes a weapon. From that day, Taxes were no longer just collection, they became control. Those who could not pay lost land. Those who complained were punished. Those who resisted disappeared. Palace guards grew richer. The people grew thinner. The kingdom was still standing, but its spirit was breaking. The silent city one morning, Oba Akenzua stood on his palace balcony, expecting the usual sounds of Edo, the drums, the songs, the market noise. Instead, there was silence. Fields lay abandoned, markets half empty, homes shuttered. The people were still there, but their joy had left. The Oba felt something unfamiliar, unease, the drought. Then the rains failed, the soil cracked, yams shriveled, the river ran low, hunger followed quickly, but the taxes did not stop. In fact, they increased. "We must maintain the palace," the Oba declared, and so the last reserves were taken. The breaking point one night, under the cover of darkness, farmers, traders, craftsmen, and hunters gathered outside the city walls. They did not carry weapons. They carried nothing, nothing left to give. Their leader was Oseyandi, a former palace guard who had seen the excess from within. "The throne has forgotten us," he said quietly, "so we must remind it." The fall of the throne. At dawn, the people refused to work, refused to trade, refused to serve. The city stopped. Messengers ran to the palace. "My Oba," they said, "the people have withdrawn their loyalty." Oba Akenzua laughed. "Who are they without me?" he asked. But when the palace guards, whose families were also starving, laid down their spears, the laughter died. The Uzama entered the palace one final time. "The ancestors have turned their backs," Chief Agosa said. "The throne stands, but it is empty." Exile Oba Akenzua was not killed. In Edo tradition, a fallen king was worse than dead. He was exiled, stripped of his coral beads, stripped of his bronze crown, stripped of his name. As he walked away from the city he once ruled, he saw the faces of the people, tired, hungry, but unbroken. For the first time, he understood. Too late. Renewal. A new Oba was chosen, not the richest, but the one known for listening. The first decree he made was simple. No tax shall be heavier than the people can carry. Slowly, Edo healed. Markets returned. Drums sounded again. Fields grew green. And the story of Oba Akenzua became a warning passed from father to son. Reflection. The lesson. This ancient Edo story teaches a truth older than kingdoms. A ruler who feeds on his people starves himself. A throne built on suffering will always fall. And power, when divorced from responsibility, destroys its own foundation. True leadership protects, it listens, it remembers, because no king rules alone, and no throne stands forever when the people are crushed beneath it. Closing line. In Edo, the elders still say, "The people are the throne. When they rise, the king falls."
Thank you for watching. If you enjoy the story, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.